This coverlet, having been decorated with ancient figures of men, shows the virtues of heroes with marvelous art.
Ariadne, gazing from the shores, watches Theseus departing with a swift fleet. She looks at herself, abandoned, but the fleeting youth strikes the sea with his oars.
She is not restraining the delicate headdress on her hair, not concealing her breast, usually veiled with a gentle garment and an elegant breastband. All these things fallen freely, the salty waves were playing with beneath her feet.
From that time when you, bold Theseus, left from the shores of Piraeus, arriving at the palace of the unjust king, Athens used to give the Minotaur chosen young men and unmarried women as sacrificial meat, and yet with the light ships pressing onward he came to noble Minos and the arrogant palace.
As soon as the royal virgin gazed at him, she whose chaste little bed was still breathing sweet perfumed breaths, she was in love. So Theseus subdued the savage thing, throwing his horns in vain to the empty winds, then turned back, guiding his steps by the thin thread. How the daughter leaned behind her father's face, the embrace of her sister, and finally her mother. She often uttered loud cries from the bottom of her heart, and then climbed the steep mountain, extending her gaze over the waves of the sea, and said these last words, calling in chilly sobs with her wet face.
Treacherous Theseus have left me on this deserted shore. Is this how you have neglected the will of the gods, forgetful man? Was there no mercy in you, so your pitiless heart may want to feel for me? But once upon a time you gave these promises to me with a sweet voice, and you told miserable me not to hope for these things, but a happy marriage and a sweet bed. Now let no one believe a promising man, for certainly I snatch you away from the world of death, and decided to rather lose my brother than to desert you in your time of greatest need. All-powerful Jupiter, if only the Athenian ships had never touched the Cretan shores in the first place. Where shall I return? What kind of hope do I depend on having been abandoned? The ocean with wide whirlpools separates me from them. Should I hope for my father's help, he who I betrayed, following a young man strained by my fraternal murder? Or should I comfort myself in my spouse's loyal love? He who flees, dipping tough oars into the sea, no plans of escape, no hope, all is silent, all things are abandoned, and all shall die.
After she poured these words from her sad heart, anxiously demanding punishment for her man's cruel deeds, the leader of the gods nodded with absolute divinity. At this motion, the earth and the rough sea trembled, and the sky shook too. Theseus himself, however, dismissed all the commands from his forgetful heart, not raising the sweet sails for the grieving parent. They say once upon a time, Aegeus had given his son a hug and said these words.
My only son, who I am forced to send away into uncertain fate, is snatched away from me against my will. I will suspend dyed sails from the wandering mast, so that the sail darkened with Spanish dye will tell our mourning, so that as soon as your eyes see our hills, at once pull down the sorrowful sails and raise the white, so I will know once more the joys which your return will present.
These commands, which Theseus was holding, abandoned him. As soon as he observed the colored linen, the father threw himself headfirst from the top of the rock, supposing his son to have been lost. Having approached his home, the tops polluted by fatherly death, bold Theseus, what sorrow he gave Ariadne with the forgetful mind, such he himself received. Part of the blanket, Bacchus is flying about, seeking you, Ariadne, inflamed by love for you.
I love
you! We cut the legs off of our pants, threw our shoes into the ocean, laid back and waved through the daylight.